Hello, welcome to my COVID-19 Diaries. I'm still in Ho Chi Minh City and I'm getting ready to fly back. And I'm going to fly back on May 14th. I'm not thrilled about this, but my visa runs out on May 14th and I don't want to go through the hassle of getting it renewed. It's pretty difficult now. I mean, it can be done, but there's so many people in this situation. All of them want to get their visas renewed. Immigration has been shut down for the month of April. It's just now open, so I'm sure they have a terrible backlog. So anyway, I have to eventually leave this country, so I'm going to do it on April 14th. But anyway, I saw this. I was just reading some stuff, and I saw you know a little portion of from the rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, and it just felt like this could have been written about today. So I'll read to you this one stanza that I saw, which made me just stop. Like one that on a lonesome road doth walk in fear and dread, and having once turned around walks on, and turns no more his head, because he knows a frightful fiend doth close behind him tread. That frightful fiend, of course, is what's going on all around us, the COVID-19 virus that we live in dread of, that has pretty much shut down the world for the past couple of months, and which we're all trying to hide away from. But having read that, I just looked at this poem again. I hadn't read this poem in about 30 years. I remember it was a set text in either a high school English book or undergraduate English literature class. But I remember having read it then, and it made an impact. But what really made an impact to me, I had a book, the kind of coffee table book about that contained this poem, and it had all the sketches of the ancient mariner. His arms, he's reaching out, long, huge white beard, tangled locks, um, and the ship of death. So that had an impact on me. But the poem had, I said, okay, yeah, it's fine. It's kind of old fashioned, but now that I look at it, I can, based on current events, it just seems so right. And that's all I want to say. Coleridge was an interesting fellow. He was an early experimenter with drugs. As a precocious reader and writer, but I think his later life was pretty badly messed up with alcohol and drugs. And so he was a precursor to the rock and roll lifestyle of now. His drug of choice was opium, which he would which he would mix up with brandy and drink down, and it eventually caused him to die, perhaps before his time, and perhaps not fulfilling the talent that he had. But Rhyme there, if you feel like you need something to read, you should read this poem. It's very long. It'll take you a while. The language is old. You may struggle with some words, but it's certainly worth the effort. And it does. It is the story of our time in the sense that man, we actually messed with nature. We killed animals and ate animals that we shouldn't have, and that brought upon us this horrible plague. When this poem, the ancient mariner shoots dead with his crossbow this albatross that had followed the ship from the South Pole, had basically led it through ice and storms to safety. And at that point, and it's never clear why the ancient mariner decides to pull out his crossbow and shoot this poor bird dead. But then this bird hangs around his neck. The expression albatross around your neck, well, that's where this comes from. And so you can almost think of the ancient mariner as a Christ-like figure. You know, he's got this the whole weight of humanity, the guilt, you know, the Christian belief in original sin, all this thing wrapped around his neck. And salvation, when he gets salvation, you know, he's on the ship. He's got 200 people lying around him dead. He's the only one, perversely, who has survived this. And suddenly he recognizes the beauty in this world. You know, the creatures that he thought slimy before are creatures that he considers them in a new light, and to him they appear beautiful and wondrous. And that is his salvation. Uh, once he realizes the beauty in the world, he is saved. That could almost be, you know, obviously Coleridge was a son of a vicar, so he had these religious stories in his mind, and so he draws heavily upon that. And so the ancient mariner is, you know, is saved. The dead crew springs to life. You know, they steer and man the ship back to England, to his hometown, and the ship just sinks right at the harbor mouth as the pilot boat is coming out to bring the ship in. And he survives, and he's picked up by the boat and he's taken ashore. So what lessons should we draw from this? That man should not mess with nature too much. We shouldn't eat and kill animals that we're not supposed to eat and kill. In fact, some people might claim that we should eat and kill no animals at all. But that's for each person's conscience to dictate. But this says, you know, it does say that, you know, the ancient mariner had brought this fate upon himself by killing that poor innocent albatross. So fare you well. Don't kill and eat animals that you shouldn't, and perhaps we'll be saved from this plague. Take care.